Spider-Man is one of the most popular and beloved superheroes of all time. He is a symbol of hope, courage, and responsibility. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man has gone through a remarkable evolution, from a young and inexperienced superhero to one of the most powerful and respected heroes in the world. In this video, we will take a closer look at the evolution of Spider-Man in the MCU. We will explore his journey from his humble beginnings to his status as a global superhero. We will also discuss how Spider-Man has changed and grown as a character throughout his time in the MCU. So join us as we swing through the highs, lows, and everything in betweens, exploring the iconic moments, costume changes, and character development that has defined this beloved superhero's path in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Evolution of Spider-Man in the MCU. Peter Benjamin Parker, a former Midtown School of Science and Technology student who received spider-like ability, including strength and speed proportional to that of a spider, and an uncanny ability to adhere to walls after being bitten by a radioactive spider. Resolving to use his abilities to help those in need, Parker developed his own synthetic web fluid and web shooters to use when battling criminals in New York City as the masked superhero Spider-Man. In 2002, the world witnessed the live-action debut of everyone's favorite wall crawler in Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire stepped into the iconic red and blue suit, bringing Peter Parker to life on the big screen. Alongside him, Kirsten Dunst portrayed the charming Mary Jane Watson, creating a chemistry that would captivate audiences. This film gifted us with numerous memorable moments, one of which remains etched in cinematic history: the famous upside-down kiss between Spidey and Mary Jane. It's a scene that continues to be hailed as one of the most iconic kisses ever captured on film. Adding to the film's allure was the stellar cast. Willem Dafoe made his spectacular debut as the menacing Harry Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. His portrayal as the unhinged villain left a lasting impression on fans. Meanwhile, J.K. Simmons stepped into the role of the boisterous J. Jonah Jameson, delivering a performance so spot-on that he would go on to reprise it in future Spider-Man films, cementing himself as the definitive J. Jonah Jameson. Tobey Maguire's journey as Spider-Man continues in 2004's Spider-Man 2, a film that sees him face off against one of his most iconic foes, Alfred Molina's Doctor Otto Octavius. 2 years after the events of the first film, Peter Parker is struggling to balance his life as a superhero with his personal life. He is also facing pressure from his friends and family to give up being Spider-Man, but he feels a responsibility to protect the city. When a tragic lab accident turns Dr. Octavius into the supervillain Doctor Octopus, Spider-Man is forced to spring into action. Doc Ock is a brilliant scientist who is now enhanced with 4 powerful mechanical tentacles, and he plans to use his newfound power to destroy the city. Spider-Man must race against time to stop Doc Ock, but he's also dealing with his own personal demons. He's feeling overwhelmed by the demands of his superhero life, and his relationship with Mary Jane Watson is strained. In the film's climax, Spider-Man confronts Doc Ock on a runaway train. The train is heading for a bridge that has been destroyed, and Doc Ock is determined to let it crash. Spider-Man uses all of his strength and agility to stop the train, and he's ultimately successful. If you're enjoying this video, kindly like, subscribe, and share Hero Nation with your friends. That way we can bring you more epic Marvel content like this one. Spider-Man 2 is a classic superhero film that features everything fans love about the character: action, humor, heart, and soul. It's a film that celebrates the power of responsibility and the importance of fighting for what's right. Spider-Man 3 is the last film of Sam Raimi's trilogy and the final entry starring Tobey Maguire as the titular hero. Whereas the first 2 films focused on one main villain, his third entry packed 3 baddies into its runtime, including Sandman, Thomas Hayden Church, Venom, Topher Grace, and a new Green Goblin, James Franco. This movie, which takes place about a year after Spider-Man 2, is probably the most polarizing of the first 3 films, but it did give us Spider-Man's black suit, and that must give it some points, right? This amazing Spider-Man saw Mark Webb swing into the director's chair and was the first to star Andrew Garfield as the web-slinging hero opposite Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy. The Amazing Spider-Man is another take on Spidey's origin story and features some history about Peter's parents. The big baddie in this movie is Rhys Ifan's Lizard, a mutated scientist who once worked with Peter's father. Spider-Man not only swung its way into our hearts, but also laid the foundation for a successful cinematic franchise that would spin its web for years to come. Our journey through Spider-Man's evolution in the MCU continues with his stunning introduction in Captain America: Civil War. Played by the charismatic Tom Holland, this version of Spidey captured the hearts of fans worldwide. But what made his debut so special? First, it was his age. Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker was a teenager. He was just a high school student trying to balance homework and web-swinging, a relatable coming-of-age story that connected with audiences of all ages. While Captain America: Civil War is obviously not a Spider-Man movie, it did introduce the world to Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., recruits Holland's Peter Parker after he has already become Spider-Man, and we get to see him facing off against or teaming up with many of the MCU's greatest heroes. Spider-Man: Homecoming, Tom Holland's first solo film as Spider-Man, arrived in 2017 with John Watts at the helm. It takes place after the events of Captain America's Civil War and tells the story of Peter Parker handling the twin challenges of high school and proving to Tony Stark that he's ready to join the Avengers. Despite that, he still takes it upon himself to improve his skills and stop crimes as Spider-Man, alongside hanging out with his friends MJ, Zendaya, and Ned, Jacob Batalon. Homecoming also introduces us to Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes Vulture, a villain who will appear again down the line. Taking place after the events of Avengers: Endgame and dealing with much of what happened in that film, Spider-Man: Far From Home begins in New York City before taking Holland's Peter Parker to Europe for a school trip. He wants to take a trip undisturbed from the world of superheroes, but the universe has other plans for him. Throughout Far From Home, Holland crosses paths with Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, Maria Hill, Kobe Smulders, and Quentin Beck, Jake Gyllenhaal, who claims to be a hero from a different universe. Make sure to stick around for the post-credit scenes here. Spider-Man: No Way Home picks up right after the post-credits of Spider-Man: Far From Home and is the most recent mainline Spider-Man film to be released. After Peter and his friends' lives are turned upside down, he goes to Doctor Strange and asks him to make things right by making everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. However, things go awry and the multiverse opens up, bringing many familiar faces from previous films into the MCU. No Way Home is as much the next chapter in Holland's story as it is a continuation of the Maguire and Garfield eras, and the fan service is just so wonderful, especially if you've seen the previous films. And there you have it, dear web-slingers and Marvel enthusiasts, the unforgettable journey of Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But the best part is, our web-slinging adventure is far from over. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey through Spider-Man's evolution in the MCU. Be sure to swing by our channel for more superhero adventures. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all things Marvel. So, fellow fans, what are your Spidey senses tingling about? Share your theories, hopes, and favorite Spider-Man moments in the comments below. Let's keep the web-slinging conversation alive.